Hey, it's Jeff here, your YouTube reviewer of New England brews. Welcome back to NEBR, New England Beer Reviews. Today from 603 Brewery of Londonderry, New Hampshire, it's their Granite Stout, which comes in with an alcohol by volume of 8.0% ABV. If you watch my page, you may have noticed a couple of weeks ago I took a visit to the 603 Brewery. This was one of the beers that I said I wanted to try and do a full review on, so that's what I did. I've been kind of out of the picture for a little bit because I spent a week in Texas. And while I was in Texas, I got to try out a few interesting beers, local beers. Even though I review New England beers, I don't only drink New England beers. I like to try beers from around the world. And so I got to try out a few interesting local Texas beers. Oh, it was a pretty good one. Anyway, I had a good time, but now I'm back in New Hampshire. And now being back here, I'm going to be doing a review, which I promised I would review a couple of weeks back. I did have this in the brewery, and you may recall that I was really impressed with it. Now, an interesting thing about this beer, I know I'm drinking this in a 603 glass, and not really putting it into a different kind of glass I like to put my stouts in. But an interesting thing about this beer is that it is brewed with lactose sugar. So, and being the amateur beer brewer that I am, I haven't done a lot, like my friend Nate and a few other people who like to do beer reviews. I do know that lactose sugar doesn't ferment as much as other types of sugar that are brewed in the beer. So that means it should have a sweeter character. And if you remember my video from a couple of weeks ago, that was one of the things I noticed. So let's check out this 603 Granite Stout. Again, I'm getting the dark milk chocolate type malts, more of a milky character, but it's a dark malt and a sort of chocolatey kind of character. It's not super chocolatey, not a dark chocolate, it's more of a milk chocolate character. And checking out the taste. Same as before, getting a nice body on this, definitely a medium body, maybe a little better than that, but absolutely in the medium range, creamy as well, so creamy and smooth. Almost swallowed that one wrong, but came back. And the taste, as I mentioned, a very sweet character with an interesting refined bitterness that comes up behind. So you get this very sweet, chocolatey sort of dark malt character right up in your face. And then immediately there's this bitterness which lingers, but it's not a real hoppy hop bitterness. It's more of a biting bitterness that creeps up from the backside and sticks around the back of my throat. And the bitterness really lingers. So I mean, again, you're getting that sort of chocolate character in the flavor, and that's what you pick up first. But then that bitterness really kicks in. It just takes things over. Not grassy, not floral. It's not that kind of bitterness. It's more of a biting, sharp bitterness that just kind of tickles the back of my throat. Sometimes I wish I could come up with better descriptive phrases, but that's really what I'm getting. Chocolate, dark malts, a decent sweetness at first, followed by a nice bitterness that comes up on the backside and balances everything out. So, and I really liked this beer when I was at the brewery, and I like it just as much now, even though this one's from the bottle, and the one I had from the brewery was off the tap. So this one is a little older than the one I had at the brewery, but it's held up pretty well. I think this is dated September, so here it is November when I'm recording that. But stouts can sometimes hang in a bit, 8%, yeah, it can hang in a little bit. Anyway, milk chocolate goodness with a nice bitter finish. So that's the way I define this beer from 603 Brewery of New Hampshire. This is their Granite Stout. Thanks for stopping by. I'll catch you again next time.